What would it mean if Donald Trump was reelected president?
I don't think that we should talk about him while we're eating.
See?
Really? Well, another Trump presidency?
You call Donald Trump, quote, insane.
I think there's a need for an intervention there by his family or somebody. You know, I don't think he's on the level now.
Nancy Pelosi's days as a congresswoman may be numbered, but her humor and the elegance with which she insults people will certainly go down in history as one of the best to walk the halls of Congress. And like 'em or hate 'em, Chuck and Nancy certainly are a pair you want on your side. As her 35-year time in Congress comes to a close, it's clear Pelosi was a force to be reckoned with, one who broke barriers for female leadership and who understood the complete ins and outs of electoralism like no one else. But let's point out the obvious. An insistence on electoralism and abiding by the sometimes archaic levers of power have not won her any friends on the left, who have powerfully pushed the House leader time and time again to prioritize material solutions to problems, rather than blaming Republicans or making things a witty joke. One of those times, notably, was with her reaction to a stalled vote on gun control, when her rage at Republican inaction was cathartic, if overall unsatisfying.
Regrets about not bringing the House back in August to keep the flame lit on gun ban.
No, absolutely not. We did our job. The Senate was supposed to come back. Why don't you all get that straight? Okay. The Senate did not come back to pass the bill. I'm getting very angry about the silliness of these questions. Lives are at stake. Senator McConnell is standing in the way. We passed our bill in February. Members had events all over the country to ask him to bring up the bill. Don't ask me what we haven't done. We have done it. And if you are annoyed with my impatience, it's because people are dying, because Senator McConnell hasn't acted. Why don't you go ask him if he has any regrets for all the people who died because he hasn't acted.
So in this case, she actually did lead her caucus to pass meaningful gun reform, and Senate Republicans, as they do, stood in the way. But there are other moments when Pelosi hid behind the levers of electoralism to truly stand in the way of meaningful progress. The fact that Democrats did not move to codify abortion rights before the 2020 midterms truly shocked many on the left. And the fact that under the supermajority of Obama, there was no urgency or even care to protect the right to choose, in hindsight, now that Roe is overturned, was an inexcusable oversight. And worse, right after Roe versus Wade was struck down, she campaigned hard for pro-life candidate Henry Cuellar in South Texas, who went on to defeat pro-choice candidate Jessica Cisneros. Who can forget this reaction, when in the wake of Roe's overturning, the only Democratic answer was to push fundraising emails?
It was my responsibility to then rush $15 to the Democratic National Party. And I thought that was absolutely outrageous because my rights should not be a fundraising point for them or a campaigning point. They have had multiple opportunities to codify Roe into law over the past 20, 30, 40, 50 years, and they haven't done it.
So it's clear Pelosi was never a favorite of the left. But I'll say outright that I do have a lot of respect for the Congresswoman, for her leadership, her tenacity, and her undeniably sharp messaging skills. I do hope she retires soon, but I hope she does so knowing that her impact on American politics has largely been for good. Thanks so much for watching. You can follow me on all platforms at Caro Johnson 917.